Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Dark Arts collection by Glam Polish. This collection goes on sale on November 22nd, so in the description box below I will link the Glam site, I will link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. There are 10 shades in this collection. Per the usual, I have half of them, so I do have 5 to share with you today. So I do have 5 of the Dark Arts polishes to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Crucio, and this is described as a dark plum jelly with iridescent flakies and fine hollow micro glitter. So here's our first coat of Crucio. This one has a good formula, very easy to work with, no running or pooling or anything like that. These flakies do lie pretty evenly across the nail. You don't have to really work to spread them out nice and evenly. The opacity on this is pretty good as well, considering all of the delicate elements that are in here. It does cover pretty well in this first coat. It is completely opaque in this second coat for me. Depending on your application, you may want to go in for 3 coats. It'll definitely add some more depth, but the base color is completely opaque in 2 coats. This one's also going to dry down a little bit dull, so you'll want a glossy top coat to finish this off, but it also looks really beautiful with a matte top coat. It will bring those flakies to the foreground, and nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have High Inquisitor, and this is described as a bright magenta jelly with iridescent flakies and fine hollow micro glitter. I don't know if I would call this magenta. It's definitely leaning much more red than that to me. So here's our first coat of High Inquisitor. And just like Crucio, this covers really well here on this first coat, just a little bit sheer, so I am going to go in for a second coat. But again, these flakies do lay nice and evenly across the nail. You don't have to work to get them spread out that way. Nothing in here is going to run or pull when applying, so you don't have to worry about it flooding your nails or your cuticles. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats for me. Again, depending on your application, you may want to go in for a 3rd coat. This one is also going to dry down a little bit dull and slightly textured, so you will want a glossy top coat or a matte top coat to finish this off as well, but nothing in here is going to stick to your nails when removing. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have the Elder Wand, and this is described as a copper to green to gold multichrome with iridescent flakies and fine hollow micro glitter. So here's our first coat of the Elder Wand, and this one is quite sheer here on this first coat. The formula is good though, no running or pulling. The flakies that are in here are also very nice and spread out across the nail. Multichromes like this do tend to be more on the sheer side. It helps the shift stand out much better once it's built up, and then with Glam adding all of the delicate elements to it, it's also going to help it not get lost in all of that shiftiness. So it does build up really nicely here on 2 coats. I am going to go in for a 3rd coat, but you could definitely stop here if you do thicker coats. But here's my 3rd coat, and this does cover completely in 3 coats for me. Again, this one is going to dry down pretty dull and a little bit textured, so you'll want a glossy top coat for that reason. If you put a matte top coat over this, the flakies will definitely show much more, but you will lose a lot of that multichrome shift. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Imperial, and this is described as a deep purple jelly with green to purple iridescent shimmer, iridescent flakies, and fine hollow micro glitter. So here's our first coat of Imperial. And this one is also pretty sheer on the first coat. It is a little bit streaky as well. The formula on it is good though, no running or pulling, not too thick or too thin. I do feel like this one has a pretty sparse amount of those flakies as opposed to what Glam usually does, but once it is built up, they are nice and layered across the nail. So here's our second coat, and this is building up well in 2 coats, but it's definitely not completely opaque, and I do have some patchiness still here on 2, so I am going to go in for a 3rd. These flakies that are in here will lay nice and evenly across the nail. You don't have to manipulate them to do so. And I believe the forerunner in this one is supposed to be that shimmer, because this is a very glitzy polish. But this is completely opaque here in 3 coats. Again, you'll want a top coat to finish this off since it does dry pretty dull. And I don't recommend a matte top coat for this one. It just wasn't the best look in my opinion. But nothing in here should be difficult to remove either. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today we have Grindelwald, and this is described as a gray crelly with iridescent flakies and ultra hollow glitter. So here's our first coat of Grindelwald. And this one is very sheer here on this first coat. I do have a tendency to do a more sheer coat on my pinky than I do on the rest of my nails since it is the first nail that I paint. But if you go in nice and normal coats, this one would probably be opaque in 2 coats. I am going to show you what 3 coats looks like today though. These flakies are just absolutely magnificent in this base color. I love this tremendously. The formula on this is good too. No running or pooling. I also didn't have any staining with anything across the board, and the flakies in here are absolutely packed. Again, you don't have to do anything special to get them to lay nice and evenly across the nail. So here's our 3rd coat, and this does cover completely in 3 coats. Again, you'll want top coat to finish this off, glossy or matte. It looks absolutely stunning either way. Nothing in here dries textured, nothing in here is going to be difficult to remove, and I'm so sorry if my sick voice has bothered you at all through the video. So there is 3 coats. So my 2 favorites of the polishes I received, the Elder Wand. I really like it when Glam does the multi-chromes. I feel like they add just something really special to multi-chromes that aren't done quite regularly. They have a really good formula that's I don't know how to explain it, but most people will try to do these multi-chromes that are just super opaque because multi-chromes are usually pretty sheer to be built up to give the strongest shift, but they keep them sheer and add these elements to them that make them really, really special. So the Elder Wand is one of my favorites, and then my other favorite from the collection, and probably my most favorite of the polishes I received, is Crucio. I love this deep red, and the flakies that are in here are so, so beautiful. The formula is so, so good. 2 coats, completely opaque, and it looks beautiful, glossy, and matte, which is something that I really look for in a polish anymore. If it looks good glossy and if it looks good matte, I'm probably going to buy it. So I really, really like these 2 of the polishes I received. I actually have no idea what the other 5 look like, but I'm really, really excited because the Spells polishes sound really, really good as well. So these 2. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up. Let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. I will talk to you again next time.